is the frequency in use. Alrighty, I guess it's not. Good evening, my name is Paul, K4PEW at the Mount Juliet Simplex Radio Net. Is there any emergency or priority traffic? Fine business. If there was, just give us a shout. Say whatever you want. We'll be breaking for you. Call 911 first. That is, unless you live next door to me and you can I'll just come over. Net may be broken at any time. For information on this net, you can see us on YouTube right now. If you look up the word Brain Trusts, or you look up my call, K4PEW, in the search block on YouTube, you'll find us. Unless unless you're unable to spell. For information on the web, well, there's also we got let's see where else we got our regular website, which is 146.415.net. And also on Yahoo Groups, MJ_SS, or you can send me an email at k4pew@arrl.net. We normally meet at 8 p.m. every Wednesday and Saturday night, with with any exceptions. This week we conduct a net, as always, on 146.415 FM Simplex. The purpose of the net is to have fun. It's not a formal net in that sense. If you got something to say, you can say it, within, of course, the normal rules and reason. As I mentioned in the email, we have no rules other than the gentlemanly rules of the conduct on the air, a gentle person, perhaps, and no eye gouging or biting. Anyway, they have fun and hopefully build our stations better. We invite everyone to announce events, activities, and training in support of the local community. Is there any URL? I'll do mine first. Today's Wednesday, so tomorrow night is the Wilson County Amateur Radio Club's Aries Information Net on 147.105 or 156.7 PL, and a plus offset. That's at 8 p.m. tomorrow. 8 p.m. And I think that's all I got, other than with a Cedars of Lebanon Hamfest, which starts, I believe, at 8 o'clock. I believe it does. You might want to check their website. On Saturday at the Cedars of Lebanon Park over in south of Lebanon. Anyway, if you have any questions on anybody need information on any of those things, please tell me.
What's the website?
I believe it's the Short Mountain website that puts that on, is it not?
I'm sorry, I spoke out of turn, I guess. What's your website that you're on?
Oh, I'm on YouTube, and that would be, if you just go to YouTube, and you can either type in my call in that search block, the way I have the search thing, or the word Brain Trusts, BRAINTRUSTS. You'll find me. Hopefully. I'm pretty sure it's there.
Is there breakfast Saturday?
We're gonna have to skip it with that Hamfest coming up. I hate to say that, but we can. They got some food, I'm told, over at the Hamfest, so maybe we should do it there. Sound like a plan? I guess it does. All righty. Hold on. Hang on 1 second. No, we'll leave it there. I was going to turn the light on the thing, but obviously it's disconnected from the battery. Yeah, the battery's dead. I don't have hooked up to regular power supply. I hooked up to a rechargeable battery. All righty. Does anybody have any other questions or comments or need fill on the information we sent? No breakfast on Saturday unless you want to have breakfast over at the Hamfest, which I'm told they have food. So that'd be a good place to do it. All righty, well, then we'll go ahead and start taking check-ins. This is net number 511, 511. And we're starting from the west. I only have one more page in my book. One open page in this notebook. I don't know how many pages it is. It's a year and a half worth, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, number 511, we're starting from the west of Mount Juliet. Please come in.
KM4YRF.
Hey, Michael. You must be the only one watching, right?
I'm not watching because I'm not at home.
Ah, well, somebody's watching. See, it's secret. Man. I can't tell who's watching.
Probably Harold.
I don't know. Oh, somebody was there before Harold jumped in. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Paul. I'll be glad to get back home, though. I'll tell you that.
Oh, I'm sure that's right. Rick said he's coming to the Ham Fest. Are you going too?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna try my best to be there.
All righty. Like they say, was it Lord willing and the creek don't rise? You know where that saying came from? I found out.
No, where'd it come from?
It has nothing to do with the creek rising, like in a flood. It has to do with, I forget the general. It was during the 1800s, and somebody, the president, was asking this guy. I think it was the president, asking him about something about an event, about that could go on in some territory of the United States. And he says, Lord willing, and the creek, and that would be the Creek Indians. Creek Indians don't rise.
Oh, how about that? I didn't know that. Rick's not going to be able to check in tonight. Today is Tori's birthday, and they're celebrating.
Well, that's more important. Is he getting him a radio?
I'm sorry?
Are they getting a radio for a present?
No.
Oh, why not?
Yeah, they're young enough. They don't have any interest in ham right now.
They have to wait till they're 60.
Maybe. That's what I did.
All right, very good, Michael. Good to have you in there. That was Kilo Mike 4 Yankee Romeo Foxtrot. He's in Belshire. Who else is next? From the west. West of Mount Juliet. You're looking north, it's to the left.
I guess that's me. KD4IAL.
Yes, it is. It's the remedial compass we got going here. Well, you sound good. Your home station is improved by 1,000,000% since you didn't have one there for a while.
Don't sound good. They're popping and carrying on.
You hear what?
Popping.
Where?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, because I don't hear it here, and you've got a good signal into this shack. I mean, so you got at least an S9. Come back to me again. I'll look at that meter again.
And that's 25 watts. KD4IAL. Huh, it quit. I don't know.
It's popping between 9 and S10. I mean, and 10 over S10. 9 and 10 over. So you're doing a fine signal here.
Let me see what that does. Oh.
So that just bumped it up. What'd you go to 50 watts?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need it. You were 40 over right there, so you're doing fantastic.
No clue.
Say again?
And the popping quit. I have no clue.
I don't know. Maybe it was a neighbor. Maybe it was a pump. Maybe it was a dryer. Who knows what it was, Sometimes these noises, there's no telling if they just come and go,
Right. Who knows? Hey, it's radio. There's a gremlin in here.
Yeah, man, it's all secret stuff in that box.
Exactly. I hope your day went well for you. It's, I got to work all day long. They haven't been doing that, but yeah, today we got to work all day long, so that was a good thing.
Well, you were on what? There wasn't work to do, or they were doing short jobs.
Short shifting. The whole network system went down out at Nissan over the last weekend, and they overheated something and burned something up, and the whole building burned down to the ground. So Canada, Americas, and Mexico has been out of the internet, and yeah, it's been fun.
Oh boy, for them that's catastrophic because that's controlling their entire stream of merchandise and parts and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's been fun. We're still plugging away. They've been doing half days and quarter days and whatnot days, but they did a full day today. So let's hope that keeps happening.
Oh, I would hope so. But it's a nice little break, but you're not getting full pay though.
Right.
Yeah, well, I'd rather have you get full pay and work. I'd rather do that. I used to be upset when they made when we worked a lot of overtime, but in the end, I was pretty happy with the paycheck.
Oh yeah, yeah, it makes up for times like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm sorry that happened to the Nissan, man. It's a rough road to hoe for them because that's a lot of stuff to be screwed up in Mexico, Canada, United States. You say that they're actually they're is it just one big screw up that happened in their IT center?
Well, what happened was is the whole network system was out in Colorado and it overheated. When it overheated, it caught fire. When it caught fire, it burned it to the ground, so they had to re-put it in.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I don't know if you saw that they had. I forget how many institutions I read about that were being held for ransomware. State, county, city, hospitals for ransomware for tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it kind of pays to have backups.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, they had all that in place. That's not a problem. It's just that their networking, which is how they do their picking, that's what it affected, and it's coming back. I mean, it's not a huge issue, but it is. But, whatever. We'll make it through it and smile while we're going through it.
Yeah, well, you figure, I don't know how many cars they produce in that plant a day, but to reduce that number, it hurts the bottom line for the plant for that month.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Well, like I said, we'll just smile and keep on getting her done. That's about all we can do. KD4IA out.
Yeah, very good, Harold. Sound good. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're doing more than 10 or 20 cars a day, but it's probably more like, I don't know how many. Tell me how many.
1,500.
Doesn't that sound funny? Sounds funny to me, 1,500. I don't think I've ever done 1,500 things in any day. Maybe breathing. Wow, that's amazing. 1,500. I know I worked for some, as a contractor for several production plants. The one that was one of the most fascinating plants was bottling, and where they were doing 1 million a day, 1 million bottles of Coca-Cola. Cracked me up. 1 million. It's crazy. Anyway, Harold, good to have you in there. That's KD4IA, Kilo Delta 4, India Alpha Lima, and he's in East Tampa and near Bell Road. Is that right?
So I'm on Tampa Drive by Harding Place, over here up on top of Dragon Mills is where I'm at, and in that neighborhood, up above Ron and straight across from Jerry, and up on top of the hill there.
All right. I think everybody probably heard you. It's Harding Place in Nashville, kind of. Everything's in Nashville over there in Davidson County. Very good, Harold. Who else west? Please come in. Well, then we need to move on to the south then. That was pretty slim for west. Who else south and west if you show up? But south, please come in. South of Mount Juliet, please come. South of 40.
K4OFO.
Hey, Donnie. We were looking forward to breakfast, I take it.
Well, I was just wondering, you talked about it last time, whether to have it or not with the Amfest. I late kind of turned the radio on, so I didn't catch the first part. But that's the reason I was asking about that. Good to hear you tonight. I know you're going to hope you have a few more checking in. West, like you say, a little slim. Maybe south will pick up here in a minute or two.
That's all right. Doesn't really. It gives me a break if it's short, but we haven't had a short net in shorter than 45 minutes in almost forever. So part of it's because I flop in my jaw. But yeah, what's funny is if somebody wants to go, if some guys aren't going to make the ham fest, you're certainly welcome to go to breakfast together. I'm not controlling that. So anyway, Donnie, good to have you in there. That's Donnie, Kilo 4 Oscar, Foxtrot Oscar. He is almost due south of me, just east of Mount Juliet Road, down 6 miles south. Very good, Donnie. Good to have you in there. Good signal as always. Who else south? Please come in.
W4VX.
Hey, how you doing there, Eddie? You're not using that 300 milliwatt radio, are you?
No, it's upstairs. I tend to be losing a lot of stuff today. Well, that's probably an everyday occurrence, but yeah, it turned out to be a good little $5 radio.
You get your money's worth on. Well, you had to buy batteries for it, right?
Yeah, 2 double A's.
Yeah. I looked on that when I saw what was apparently available somewhere, but they actually sell ICOM. Was it ICOM? I forget.
Yeah, it's ICOM.
Yeah, that ICOM they sold. I don't know if somebody still does, but they sold a battery charger and nickel cadmium batteries to be recharged for that. But you could do that anywhere.
Yeah, they make some good double A batteries now, especially if you want to pay a good nickel or two for them.
Oh yeah, no, I buy those ones that you have to take a loan out for, and most of my camera stuff.
Yeah, those Panasonic Lopes or something like that. They're supposed to be good ones.
Yeah, no. Also the regular, the lithium ion. Is it lithium ion? Not the rechargeable ones, but I think they're lithium. The ones by Everready.
Yeah, those are good ones too.
Yeah, but they're expensive. Well, very good, Eddie. You sound good. You sounded okay on that. How many was that? 30 milliwatts, did you say?
I think it's 300. But, well, looking forward to Saturday. Maybe it won't get rained out. I'll see a bunch of y'all Saturday morning. W4EVX.
Yeah, well, the rain doesn't have any soap in it, so everybody just show up with a towel. Very good. That was Eddie, Whiskey 4 Echo Bravo X-Ray. He's in Gladeville. Great signal into my station, but he's only about 5 or 6 miles east, kind of southeast, or east-southeast, I guess I should say. Who else? South, please come in.
Hey, Paul, what's your call? Yankee Victor.
All right, I heard you got double down there. Say your call again so everybody can hear you, Larry.
Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor.
Very good. It was. Hold on, let me hear that double. Who was doubling in there?
Sorry, it's probably Harold. I was asking for your call.
Oh, my call is Kilo 4 Papa Echo. You having trouble finding it on YouTube?
Yeah. Okay. Brain trust. I see it now.
There you go. Yeah, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Then you can, and that notifications button, and you'll get notifications when I'm on the air, or a reminder. If you want it, you don't have to do that. Anyway, Larry, how you doing tonight? Pretty good?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, but I can't believe Eddie trumped me out there with 300 milliwatts or whatever.
No, he bought that handheld, and he was calling from his car at the house, and all I could hear was this faint. I could hear it, but it was really faint. I said, "Man, what radio are you on?" He says, "It's a 2 AA battery radio that he bought for $5 at the Hamfest in Huntsville."
All right, man. I'll let you get on with it. KU4SYB.
Yeah, very good. That's Larry. He's in where is he? He's in Rockville. Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor in Rockville. Good signal, Larry. Who else is south? Anybody else south of 40? All right, then. Anybody east? Please come in.
WA4ZHI. Echo 4 Romeo Victor, come back.
All right, hold on, Brent. We'll get to you. James beat you out there. James, how you doing this evening?
I'll be doing pretty good. Made it faster.
Oh, yeah. He came in a little later. He almost got his whole call in there, but he did fine. We don't care if people double. Doesn't matter. There's no contest here, and I don't think we're competitive on that issue, but you doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I always do it. Just say the letters. I don't do the sounding of it.
Yeah, you don't do the phonetics. Well, I technically, I just do it, I think, out of habit. I mean, I've heard it said and seen it printed that because FM is a much higher quality sound, there really isn't a reason to use phonetics because everybody should be able to understand what we're saying. But sometimes it's just easier to use the phonetics and people pick right up on it. It's easier to understand, and there's no question about whether it's whatever, a U or a W.
Well, if you don't need it, you go and use it because it takes about 3 times as long.
Yes, it does. Absolutely it does. But everything's going all right otherwise, right?
Oh, yeah, we're doing okay.
Very good. Well, good to have you in there, James. Good seeing us always right here in the heart of Mount Juliet. Whiskey Alpha 4 Zulu Hotel, India. That's James here in Mount Juliet. Who else east, please come in?
Kilo Echo 4, Romeo Victor, Quebec.
Oh, there we go. Forgot about you already.
Man, I'll tell you, I really make an impression, don't I?
You at the fair tonight?
Yep, I'm up here on the on our little go kit.
Ah, cool. And Richard's there too?
Yeah, he'll be talking to you here in a minute.
Okay, very good. Everything going good at the fair? No disasters?
Nothing to really speak of since Saturday night. Now we kind of been just a lot of goofy calls because of the heat.
Oh, I'll bet. That heat was something today. I know. I was out there.
Well, like they said, this is an egg on crack. Well, the heat out here is enough to boil your brain just like it.
Yeah, you would expect there'd be some more people succumbing to the heat, but I guess they're smart enough, and Middle Tennessee people are kind of used to it.
Yeah. The crazy thing we usually get is somebody that shouldn't even be outside and they show up.
You mean like those real pale people from Boston?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I used to be one of those people way back when. I remember how it was just funny. Once I moved to the South, I got used to the sun.
But everybody cracks up at me down here when I'm not in a uniform. I'm always in shorts and stuff, and it'll be the wintertime. They say, "Are you just nuts?" And I said, "It's not cold to me."
Yeah, I know. It's true though. I mean, you and I kind of have the same background, and so I don't know. I think it's my Eastern European blood, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, well, even when I lived in Pennsylvania, I rarely wore more than a flannel shirt and maybe a vest.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, because the only time that I would dress up heavy clothes if I was going to spend a lot of time outside doing something on a below freezing day. But otherwise, going to the car, going to shopping, going to school, going to whatever, it was just a light jacket and sometimes gloves.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, well, you wore gloves when you were shoveling snow, that's for sure.
Yeah, I found out the hard way of throwing snowballs without them one time. Got frostbite and didn't even know I had it until I got home and they thawed out.
Oh, yeah, well, I know the feeling very well. All right, very good, Brent. That's Brent, Kilo Echo 4, Romeo Victor, Quebec, and he is at the county fair, one of the bigger county fairs maybe in the whole state, I think. Isn't it supposed to be one of the biggest in the state?
Yeah, it's supposed to be. KI4SIB.
All right, boy, Brent changed his voice. How you doing, Richard?
Yeah, I know. Quick.
Hey, I didn't tell everybody that I had for whatever reason and where I picked them up, I got attacked by chiggers this past 3 or 4 days. I didn't know what it was until I realized what it was today. But I thought it was just going away. I thought I got bitten by fleas or something with the dogs. But then I realized, well, the dogs aren't being bothered by the fleas because they're on flea medication. So that's what I was going to try to tell you earlier when I said, where were you when I needed you? But man, I realized I had to go get something to get rid of the chiggers, man. They're awful.
Somebody once told me if you put fingernail polish on them, it'll take care of them.
How am I supposed to hold their little hands to put fingernail polish on?
Good luck with that.
No, you know what I did? I saw something on YouTube. This guy, he said, I think he was from Middle Tennessee, or said he was in Middle Tennessee and get chiggers. And the best thing I just found out today was the best thing to use was just wash everything with alcohol, man. It'll kill. And it looks like it has, but I'm going to do it a few times to be sure.
Well, don't make the mistake I did trying to get rid of poison ivy. Somebody told me to put bleach on there, and I messed around, put it on there, and left it too long, and gave myself a good chemical burn. So don't do that. If you're going to use alcohol, you can leave it on there for days, but bleach, not so much. Talk to you later. KI4SIB back to net.
Well, you can use a bleach solution, but I think you have to look up what that solution is. Maybe 10 to 1 with water or something.
Yeah, and when I was using it straight on a white washcloth, and I put it on my forearm, and that was a bad mistake.
I bet a white washcloth looked even whiter.
Well, I didn't want to bleach out a washcloth.
All right, yeah, we live and learn, don't we? I've done dumber things than that. Give myself a chemical burn. But anyway, that was Richard. He's also over at the county fair. over at the fairgrounds over there near Lebanon. That's Kilo India for Sierra India Bravo. And again, good signal, but you're both on the same radio. Who else east, please come in? Up to the north then.
N4, NYA. Sorry, I'm east.
Oh, that's all right. You're doing good. How you doing?
Doing good, Paul. Well, I say I'm doing good. I was at the fair last night, and middle of the night, I came down with a cold that would kill a horse, and so I'm going to be fighting that for the next few days.
Well, you got it from all those people showing up at the fair, all those people with colds.
I really don't think I got it there. I think I picked it up Sunday because my body's kind of weird, which is no surprise to a lot of people, but it takes me about 3 days to actually come down with a cold. I can feel it coming, and then you get a few little symptoms, and then, that's it. So I thought I had some symptoms last night, and evidently I did. So here I am. At least I'm retired, and I can sleep the day away if I choose.
Yeah, no, good to have you in there, Dale. Yeah, I think I'm pretty much the same way too. Usually about the day before, you go, man, for certain, I either getting a cold or the flu, one of the two.
Right. Well, I've always avoided the flu. I always get a flu shot. Being diabetic, that puts me in a risk group, so they always insist on doing that. And I've never had it once I started taking flu shots, but I'll still get the sniffles once in a while. But this thing is oftentimes nowadays, when I get something like this, it will settle into an upper respiratory issue. Sometimes I got to go to the doctor, sometimes I don't, but we'll see in the next 3-4 days whether I live or die.
Well, you can either what does it say? You can take the medication, you can see a doctor, and it'll take about 7 to 10 days, or you can do nothing, and it'll take 7 to 10 days.
Yeah, that's about the size of it. I mean, all they can do is just really help relieve the symptoms, things like that. Cold's got to run its course. I just hate them so much. I had them as a kid. I don't have them very much now, but when I do, it's usually a doozy. And that's what I've got. So back to you, and please carry on. Thanks for doing this, Ned. It's a lot of fun. N4, NYA.
Yeah, very good, Dale. Good to have you in there. That was Dale, November 4, November Yankee Alpha. He's the EC for the Wilson County Emergency Management Agency, which is over in Lebanon. And thanks for the work you do on that, Dale. And appreciate the kind words. We've been doing this for almost 5 years. It'll be 5 years in September, I think 22nd or 25th. I forget. So I can't believe we've been doing it that long, but we have. Who else? Good to have you in there, by the way. And N4, NY, 11. Who else east? Well, it must be NASCAR on. From the north, please come down.
WB0NOL.
That's the smallest net we've had in a long time. How you doing, Mark?
Doing good, Paul. I finally got around to figuring out why my audio was gone last week, and it's apparently because the little icon has got different filters on it, and it accidentally got pushed, and I was on ultra narrowband.
Well, that would answer that question, because I had nothing really, almost nothing.
Yeah, I put it on a bench, and in that narrowest mode, it only has about 1.2 kc of modulation. Not much.
Why do they offer that mode, and who uses it? I never have figured that out.
If two guys are talking, it's probably fine. You can compensate for it, and you use less bandwidth. But, of course, in commercial service, they're using it. But as far as I know, none of the hams are.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, well, very good, Mark. I'm glad you're in there, and I'm glad you figured it out. It's funny how most of our problems are with our radios and ourselves and our interactions with radios, trying to figure out what we did wrong. You ever notice that?
Oh yeah, it's all self-inflicted stuff. And so I just left it alone. Although I don't think I did this. I kind of remember my wife saying maybe she was asking me how to turn the volume down. The radio may have been on and I wasn't paying any attention, and she was near it and wanted to turn it down. So I kind of have a feeling that she maybe bumped something, but who knows?
Yeah, she just want to learn how to turn it off, probably.
Yeah, she does. She does need to know how to do that. You know, I could die and this radio would just be driving her crazy forever.
Well, I'm pretty sure she'd find out how to unplug it, that's for sure. Well, very good, Mark. Good to have you in there. That was Mark, Whiskey Bravo Zero, November, Oscar. He's over in Hermitage. Anybody else north? All right, then we're going to take late check-ins.
KG Whiskey 4, Alpha Whiskey Echo.
Yeah, hold on, John. I heard the Kilo Golf 4 station again, please.
Hey, Paul. It's Chris, KG4CXE.
Yeah, John covered you right up after the Kilo Golf. I couldn't tell who it was. How you doing, Chris?
Pretty good, man. How are you?
Couldn't be too much better now that I figured out how to get rid of chiggers. But did you hear that story about Nissan and they burned down their some part of their computer system?
No, I didn't hear that. Speaking of chiggers, I hate them. I've had them a little bit this year, and I had them once one year. They were just, I'm talking 50 bytes. Had to have been. But no, I didn't hear that about Nissan. That's wild. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I don't know if it was on the news. Harold, who's on the net, he works there, and he said they had some issues with their main part of the computer. But anyway, it has to do with their supply chain, and so they've been on limited hours at this plant, along with all the plants in Canada. I think he said Canada, Mexico, U.S. Yeah, Canada, Mexico, U.S.
Man, that's horrible. It happens. We revolve so much of our business around that, the ability to have access to fast data.
Well, I know that's what it's come to, and it's what's, I think, necessary. I think you almost think you wish you could have it all localized, but have like, how often is Google down, or how often is Yahoo down when they've got multiple servers that apparently co-locate everything?
Yeah, redundancy, right, and then global diversity.
Yeah, it's amazing. I saw one of the Yahoo server farms up in New York, and they're up near Lake Ontario, and they're all naturally cooled because it's right near the lake. And they don't have, I've never got inside because it's all fenced off. But I forget how many square feet they have. They're probably 2 or 3, maybe, I'm guessing 200,000 square feet of nothing but computer floor.
Yeah, it's wild. And for a small, well, actually a large fee, a small piece of it can be yours.
Well, when you realize, I forget what I saw a stat one time a couple of years ago, and it gave the statistic for how much of the United States' energy production goes to servers. Everybody's, universities, corporations, Yahoo, Google, etc. And I don't remember what it was, but I want to say it was 8 or 10% of the entire usage of the United States of power is in those machines.
Yeah, I can believe it. And a wild thing that was the whole Bitcoin stuff, that cryptocurrency. People were farming it so much that they were paying, crazy. Basically, you just need a lot of processing power. It consumes a lot of energy, right, to get to that amount of power. But people were farming it, and it was charging, $400 a month an electric bill or whatever. And they were they were talking about, okay, so what happens if everybody starts farming this? It'll basically shut down the power grid.
I watched please don't help me on this, okay? But I watched an explanation, I think it was on YouTube, about cryptocurrencies. It left me more confused than when I started.
I still find it very strange.
Strange. I feel like I'm living in, the year 2050. It's just weird to me.
Yeah, and they've got apparently another one to replace another one. It just keeps getting. I don't get it. Digital money, right? Yeah.
I think it's a plot.
It's something, that's for sure.
All right, very good, Chris. Good to have you in there. It's Kilo Golf 4 Charlie X-Ray Echo. And he's also, he's in Donaldson, though, not Herman. That's correct on Donaldson, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, very good. These undefined areas in Nashville, Davidson, crack me up. I wouldn't know where Donaldson starts and where it ends. I just know about where it is. Anyway, I got John. How are you doing tonight?
Doing good, Paul. Is it a light turnout this evening? I just got in.
Well, I never know till it's over, until the fat ham sings. How's that?
That's right. The roll call continues.
No, sometimes I think it's going real slow, and I go, okay, whatever, and then we end up with 30, and I go, how did that happen?
Yeah, you're right. We have been surprised a few times.
But I shouldn't be surprised if the turnout was low either. I mean, you could have lots of things that converge because even, on the normal average nights, and I just glance and I think, okay, here's the people who normally check in who didn't, and it adds usually 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, because they got other things they're doing with their family, their friends, whatever, work, who knows what they're doing, or they forgot, or they're sleeping. So, it's just gonna, if that what do they call it, random? That's not the right word. It is random though. It could very well be an anomaly, and you could have to 13. You're the last one.
Yeah, it is a random thing, but sort of random with some predictability.
Yeah, well, I don't. Like I said, I do not worry about it. I don't believe we're in a contest. I believe it's those that can and will, they do, and and if they can't or don't, it's no big deal. And if they do, it's wonderful. But like I said, I did this net for 4 years, about 4 years, and our average was somewhere between. It started out with an average of a handful and worked its way up to 12, and then in the next year it went from 12 to 20 something. So it's just it didn't matter to me that there was 12. I thought 12 was a lot.
Yeah, I mean that's the attraction for me is sort of the easygoing informality of it. No strict protocols. Come as you are.
Well, yeah, I think you heard. I don't know if you heard me early on. There is no biting or eye gouging.
Yeah, not yet.
No, we only do that when we get together in person.
Yeah, you're right. How you been?
I've been doing great, other than being attacked by chiggers in the last few days, and I finally think I got rid of them.
Well, that's one of my most powerful childhood memories. It seems like at every turn I was having a run-in with chiggers.
How did you get rid of them? When they because they burrow those little tiny. They're so tiny. I mean, they're like 2 microns.
Yeah, my grandmother had a cure that was, in fact, it was a cure that she used for a lot of things. It was like coal oil, which was kerosene. Just like, well, get in the bathtub and cover yourself with kerosene. The chiggers will be gone in a half an hour. But boy, it's sort of a burn.
You're right. In fact, I learned that. I went on YouTube and I said, chiggers, this guy, I don't know where he's from, but he said he got this massive, he does survival topics and he seems like a pretty square guy. Anyway, he said he got chiggers in Tennessee, middle Tennessee, when he was out in the country, and he was just giving that explanation. He says, and he was wrong about one thing. He said, either use alcohol, which is what I did, and it seemed it really solved, even took the itch away. But alcohol, he says, or Coleman fluid. And he says, and he used the word or other petroleum-based products. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second. But so I wrote him a note, on the response, I'm going, dude, Coleman fuel is unleaded gasoline, so be careful.
Yeah, and pretty high octane and very volatile stuff. Even dish soap will work pretty good. All you got to do is cut off their oxygen, and they'll give it up pretty quickly.
Yeah, alcohol did great. I'm going to try it a couple more times, but fortunately, alcohol doesn't burn unless you got wounds or something. But what I was going to tell you was my father, who's been dead now for 19 years, he told me about his grandfather, whom I never met. He died in like 1947, I think. But he was from Poland. He was a carpenter. And he was a man of the earth, so to speak. He said he was bald, which I've seen pictures of him. He had a wart on the top of his head. So he took a straight razor and he cut it off. Just he sliced off the wart. And then he took kerosene like you use in the lamps in the homes back in those days. Took kerosene, just slapped it on there, said it'll be fine.
Wow, he did everything except he strike a match to it and cauterize it.
No, I just always thought that was funny. When you said kerosene, though, I'm pretty sure that those insects, they're actually arachnids. Did you know that? The chiggers?
You're right. That's true. And, you know, it's funny. It's like, I just remember the whole time growing up, visiting down in the country, kerosene was always called, you know, and with the southern pronunciation, it's coal oil, which is sort of a, some people with a good southern accent, you can't even recognize those two words, coal oil. In fact, I had a first grade teacher make fun of me for saying that once.
Oh, yeah. Well, just these different ways that we talk about things. I was going to tell you something about that kerosene. I don't know what it was, but kerosene is like a cure-all. Like my dad would, I remember watching him wash windows, clean windows with kerosene.
I just remember it being the medicinal cure for almost everything I ran in to ask my grandmother or grandfather about. They go, well, just put some coal oil on it, you'll be okay.
And they probably lived to be 90.
Yeah, in fact, they did.
Must be good for you. They probably sipped a little every night, too, just to be sure.
Yeah, you just sort of cut it with a little bit of moonshine.
No, it's fun to hear that because people did have some home remedies that didn't sound that kosher, but, you know, anyway. All right, John, you sound good. That's Whiskey 4 Alpha Whiskey Echo, and he's over in Bellevue. Do we have anybody else, north, south, east, or west? Late taking.
K4ON. AI4NDN.
Hey, hold on, David. I'm the ladies first here. How you doing, Mary?
Doing great. How about you, Paul?
Well, you might have heard me. I had an attack of chiggers, and they were driving me nuts.
They will drive you absolutely crazy. I've heard also, like somebody else said, that you take just clear fingernail polish and just paint each one of them individually, and it like cuts the air off from them, and they will die. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've always heard that.
Well, here's the deal, though, Mary. This is what's weird. I don't think I'm guessing you've never had an infestation, not a racist term, but I actually looked. My legs had. I'm guessing I had 60 or 80 bites on my legs total, on my feet, my ankles, my calves, my knees, my thighs. It's a pain, and on my belt line too. And I didn't know what it was. I thought it was fleas at first. I said, "Well, fleas don't really do that like that." And besides, my dogs aren't bothered at all. They seem to be fine because they're on flea medication. They never have fleas. So when I looked close, and I could see these little and I mean, when I say small, I must have great eyesight, but when I could not tell what it was, other than it looked like a tiny, tiny, tiny speck of hardly you wouldn't even notice it on a piece of paper if you put it down. In fact, I saved a couple of them, but they're so small that you can only see what it is if I take a 30-power microscope to look at it.
Oh my God.
I know, it was unbelievable. So anyway, I realized, I looked, I said, man, that's one of them bugs. And I realized it was chiggers, and that's when so for me I needed a paintbrush to put all the nail polish on them. But in this case, they were so small. And anyway, I just took a wash rag and poured isopropyl alcohol on it and rubbed down 80% of my body. And not only relieved the itching, but it seems to have gotten rid of the chiggers, but we'll find out.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad it did. You were probably scratching your legs to death. I mean, that is so just annoying, and it just drives you crazy. Something you might want to try if that doesn't work, and I think this might work, is the spray-on bandage. And you can get a little bottle of spray bandage. I don't remember what the brand names are, but you could try that maybe, because that, cuts off the air and stuff too, like the fingernail polish would do. So, I don't know, just a thought.
Oh, no, I got you. Believe me. But I think the isopropyl alcohol in a very large practically, it was like a bathing myself, like a sponge bath with isopropyl alcohol. It seems to have done the trick. I'm going to find out. I'll do it a couple of times. Yeah, I've never tried that spray on bandits. I know what you're talking about. Is Marty still there, Mary?
He is. I hope you all have a good evening, and here is Marty.
84 BQK.
Hey, Marty, you taking good care of Mary now that you got her home for 10 days or so?
Yeah, it's past that time. She's doing amazingly well.
Yeah, that's great. Very resilient. Well, she's been holding the fort together this long. She might as well go on another 20 or 30 years.
And I just want to wish him a happy birthday.
Who's having a birthday?
Marty.
Oh, I think I doubled with you. Oh, fantastic. I'm not going to ask how old he is, but I think I know about how old he is. So, happy birthday, Marty.
About 200 years old.
Well, sometimes I feel that old. Yeah. But you seem to be doing all right.
Yes.
Yeah, very good. And the dog's doing well?
Dog always doing well. She's got tatters.
Yeah, I got to send you guys a picture. I don't know if I told you, we brought home another rescue dog that was, a fellow passed away, and he left a wiener dog behind, and she's 13 years old. And I'm not joking you, she's about twice the weight she should be. She looks like an armadillo.
You gotta send us a picture.
Oh, I'll send you a picture. She's she's like an overstuffed sausage. You don't see it. But she's a cute dog. She's very nice, very very pleasant dog. Very well. She's 13 and she's partially hard of hearing, and she cries because she can't jump up because she weighs too much to get on the sofa. But if she cries, I picked her up and I put her up on the foot, one of those, I don't know what you call those things, kind of a rectangular footstool. I don't know what you call it. I put her up there and she's happy, stays there, takes a nap, just sits there and looks around. She has a good time. So she was taking good care, but the previous owner overfed her a lot.
Yeah, she's gotta get some of that. She's gotta. Okay. Yeah, I'm all choked up.
Yeah, no, I've got her on a restricted diet, so it's just what she needs, and she seems to be taking it well. So I'm just happy about that. She is a food hound. Every time she sees me eating, she comes over and stares at me like I'm going to give her something. And I don't give her anything because it's just not a good habit to get into with a way obese dog.
Yeah, you did. We're so glad you rescued that dog.
Oh yeah, no, it's really she's a it's a little bit of work, and when you pick her up, it's a little back-breaking. No, she doesn't weigh that much. I think she weighs, I don't forget what they said, 25 pounds, and she should weigh about 12. But anyway, no, she's a good dog. We're going to try to give her another 5 or 6 years of life here. Anyway, very good, Marty. That was Marty and Mary, Kilo Delta 4, Oscar Echo, November. That's Mary, and Kilo Delta 4, Bravo, Quebec Kilo. That's Marty in there in Belshire. Good signal. Good to have you both in there. I will get a picture. I might send it out to the whole group as well. People get it. I told my wife, I said, the dog looks like an armadillo. It's got little short legs and kind of a heavy body. And you'd have to see it. You'll see it. Anyway, who else is out there? Late chickens.
Early check-in. Kilo India 4, November, Delta, November.
Oh, there you go. See, I forgot about you already. How you doing, David?
Oh, I'm doing all right, Mr. Ball. Sitting here listening to you go on about them chiggers, and that tells me that you're a transplant here for sure. Everybody knows the cure for chiggers in the South.
Yeah, I never, ever had chiggers, ever. I had some other things. I've had all kinds of things going on, but never that. And I didn't really get a clue what was going on until I had it for 3 days or so.
Well, that's just a welcoming. You've been here so long now, the chiggers have welcomed.
That's right. They say it's about time we got him.
Yeah, a buddy of mine, back in the CB days, his name was Cookie Man. And you say, Cookie Man, what are you doing? He said, I'm laying here on the couch eating Nutty Buddy ice cream, letting Brenda pick chiggers, take some fleas off of me.
Yeah. Well, I'm very familiar with fleas, very familiar with ticks. Uh, I had some other issues over the years, and so the chiggers was just adds to my list. That's all.
Yeah, I understand. Well, but see, the cure is Nutty Buddy ice cream.
I'm, I'm pretty sure that's not a cure. It certainly makes you feel better.
Well, that's the way Cookie got them off of him. Anyway, Paul, appreciate you being there. Just got in here late, and have a good one. Appreciate what you do. KI4NDN.
Yeah, that was David. Kilo India 4, November Delta November. He's down in Reedyville, and he usually does net control for the Rutherford County Aries Simplex net, which is the first Tuesday of the month at 7:30 p.m. First Tuesday of the month, 7:30 p.m. And I forget the frequency, but if you look them up, you look up Rutherford County Aries, you'll see it on the net. All right, we have any other check-ins, late or otherwise?
KD4ZGY. Comment.
Hold on, let me take Eddie first here. How you doing, Ed? Ed, you there? KD4ZGY.
Oh yeah, well you said Eddie and then you said Ed. I didn't know which one you wanted there. Good evening, Paul. This is KD4ZGY there. We've had a good day up here, and I can relate to the ticks and the chiggers, especially back in my childhood when you used to pick blackberries. Oh, you'd always come home with a good dose of chiggers.
So how did you get rid of them?
Cool.
Cool.
That's the way I always done it. Of course, at that time I thought it was spelled COLD. Oil.
Yeah. I think, did you hear me tell you about that guy that was on the web who said that he says you can use Coleman, a Coleman fuel?
Nah, you don't do that. That'll blister you. I remember back years ago, I took a cigarette lighter to school, and that's back when you could take stuff fly like that. I run out of fluid, and I went down to the little where they started, where they gassed up the buses. I got me some of that out, and I did. Of course, you don't take little for a cigarette lighter. And I squeezed the trigger and filled it full of gasoline. Put it back in my pocket, and about an hour later, that stuff seeped out through the pants and blistered my leg. And man, I was hurting before school was out.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's why. In fact, I sent him a note on YouTube to say, just remember that Coleman fuel is unleaded gasoline, so be careful.
It is like the other guy was saying, it's the higher octane as well there. But I have bought that white gasoline and used it in Coleman fuel as Coleman fuel. But anyway, there, yeah, I can relate to your triggers, especially there. I'll let you go there. I'm sure you got some more in. I just want to jump in and say hello, and I've enjoyed listening thus far there. KD4ZGY, Paul.
Yeah, very good, Ed. That's Ed, Kilo Delta for Zulu Golf Yankee. He's down in the Shake Rag near Shelbyville. Yeah, there's one thing you're happy for when you got chiggers. If you got nails, you got nails on your fingers, it makes you a lot happier. It's it rips off a lot of skin, but makes you happy. Who else did I hear in there?
It was me, Paul. If you get you some Ivy Rest and put on there, that'll take care of the chiggers.
But what? What'd you say to put on there?
Well, it's Ivy Rest, IVYREST, or Ivy Dry. It's both the same thing, I think, but it'll stop that in a heartbeat.
Oh, it stops the itching. It stops that annoying, because it is annoying.
Yeah, it'll stop it right away, and it'll dry it up real quick.
Well, surprisingly, I think you may have heard me say that when I took the very large quantities of alcohol on a wash rag, clean wash rag, and just rubbed everything from my toes up to my waist, and any other area. I had a lot of issues along my belt line. It really, all of a sudden, the itching went away. I was amazed that the isopropyl alcohol did that.
Has it stayed away?
Well, so far, and that was about almost 2 hours ago. Time will tell, because what I plan on doing is doing it again, and then I don't know which I'll do first. I've also got this stuff that's it's called I forget what it's called. It's stuff they use for like surgeons use it, but I think it's in a higher for cleaning and sanitizing wounds and stuff, that kind of stuff, cleaning your hands and stuff. I forget what it's called right now, but it's like a hexachlorophene. It's that kind of a product.
Yeah, I got you. That'd probably good to do.
Anyway, yeah, that's just I was surprised when I looked at my 1 foot. I couldn't believe there had to be 30, welts on it from those stupid chiggers. I want to pick them up and slap them around, but I can't see them that well.
Yep, that ivy rest or ivy dry is good for poison oak, poison ivy, and any kind of bug bite like that. It works on. It's really good stuff.
Yeah, I just want to kill them. I want to kill them all immediately. Yeah, because I think you might have heard me say I picked some off and I was able to look at them in that 30 power microscope. They're just ugly little buzzards.
I'll bet. I've never seen one, but I'll bet they are.
I'd say I could tell you what they look like, but I can't. They're kind of a reddish brown, and they got little bodies on them, almost like a crab. I don't know what you compare them to, but they're not pretty. Anyway, anybody else late check-ins, please come in. Lollygaggers, sandbaggers, lurkers, and what else we got? SDR donglers, scanner listeners, preppers, and end-time survivalists can come in now. All righty, we got nothing. We had a less than normal night, but nothing. There's no normals here. It's just whoever shows up, and it must be either NASCAR or maybe there's pre-NFL football on. I don't know. It's unusual to have only 17, but it's fine. Doesn't matter. It used to be 4 or 5. So I'm happy that there's enough interest here to do that. We've been on almost an hour, but we've taken the time to talk. And appreciate everybody who's coming in. And you guys are what makes the net good for everybody else. As long as you understand that. So the people that show up are actually more important than me, although I'll just say I'm the facilitator and you guys are really the product. So kind of like Google, I guess. They just make you the product. All right. Have a good night, everybody. You can review this on YouTube if you choose later. And appreciate y'all being there. It's K4PEW closing the net.